So, 2021, it was an interesting year. And we all kind of had some goals, I'm sure, but we may not have all achieved them. This is my list. Now, as you can see there, quite a long list. And I don't believe I achieved hardly any of them because, well, when it comes to actually setting goals, sometimes you have to keep them realistic. But a lot of these I was looking over this last year, and I was trying to figure out how am I going to do this. And surprisingly, a lot of these goals, I actually came close to doing what I wanted to. I mean, obviously, my very first goal was, well, let's hit 10K subs on YouTube. That didn't exactly happen, but that's my own fault because I was not consistent enough. I was not uploading enough, and I had a lot of personal things came up where I just wasn't making videos because of, well, a lot of the stuff that I talk about being with depression, anxiety, and my OCD, which is another thing where I just overthink way too much, but this is going to lead into my goals for this coming year. The second goal was go drifting and actually have fun. I don't believe I've gone drifting in probably about 2 years now. The last time we went drifting actually was at an event during 2020. It was in the summer, and they had just opened up back here in Texas, and we actually went drifting. It was a good time, but the car broke down, and I haven't been since. So part of that is my fault. There were opportunities this year, and I didn't go. But the other part is, I mean, with everything going on in the world, it's hard to get to events. So, is what it is. Number 3 was start working on a short film. Now, this one was one that I had thought about for quite a while because there's a few ideas that I've had because I really enjoy making videos, but I also really enjoy film. And one of the big things in film is that, like, obviously it doesn't translate well to YouTube because YouTube is a lot of goofy stuff. Y'all want to come here, have a good time, not necessarily want to watch a short film, right? So, and that's not really what my channel is about, but it's just something that's kind of like a passion project of mine. Now, I did do a bunch of writing. I've got a bunch of scenes that I've wrote in here. I have songs that I've written and stuff like that, and I just never made it. Why? Well, it's because I get so stuck inside my own head that a lot of times, a lot of these ideas, they don't ever actually make it to film because I'm like, I overthink it too much to the point where I'm like, how am I even going to make this work? Because I'm spending so much time. I'm like, it's not going to make any sense. Nobody's going to watch it, whatever. That's going to be changing this year. Number 4 is, let's see, learn about film and cinema. Okay, now I definitely did that. I have been reading. I have been watching a lot of videos online. I have been looking up stuff about film, cinematography, all this kind of stuff because I've been wanting to step up my game with how I film the videos that I do. It's very tricky because I'm a one-man band, but I've really been stepping it up as best that I can, and I'm trying to learn different techniques and things that I can do just to make things more interesting, being that it's just me. But obviously, I still need to make it so I can produce these videos quickly and not spend 3 months making one video. Okay, so then my other goal was to take time for your mental health. Yeah, that one, I definitely took time, but it wasn't exactly great time used for my mental health. I definitely need to work on that one. Finding balance is definitely something I think is important, and it's very difficult to do. But that's one that I'm still working on. I've been working on this. This one's on here like every single year. That one's very tough, but that's one I definitely need to work on. I did have a tendency to actually put things aside and actually take time for it. But it's kind of tricky, because sometimes, life gets in the way. Sometimes you just have to do stuff, and just kind of mental health always tends to take a back seat, which it really shouldn't, but that's just how it goes. Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do, and then you deal with that later. Get stronger in the gym. Now this one I did do. Okay, I definitely did this one. Now, I haven't made a lot of videos about fitness stuff because that's not really a lot of what I do here. I may start doing more of that this year because it's a really big part of my life. I've been working out for a very long time, but it's one of those things where there's so many people doing it. It's kind of like, I don't even know if people are really interested in it anymore because a lot of the people that are into fitness, it's a certain type of demographic, you know what I'm saying? And I know because I've been working out and I've been doing it a long time. I met a lot of gym bros and stuff like that. And I'm definitely a gym bro, but I do things a little bit differently. And it's more or less, the gym for me is a huge stress reliever. So for me, I do it regardless. Like if it means the difference between making a video or going to the gym, I'm going to the gym just because I need it. And for me, a lot of times weightlifting, it's just a really good outlet for me when it comes to just getting all that crap out of my brain, or just like if I have pent up anger and rage, I just take it all out in the gym, and then it's like, I'm too tired to be angry by the time I get done. So that's the nice part about that. But I definitely got stronger because this year was the first year that I did not go on a cut. I didn't cut down. I specifically bulked. It's been about a year and a half now where I've been trying to gain weight, and I have successfully. I went from, I believe I was 175 when I started the bulk, and now I'm at about 212, 215. That's why this year we're going to be trying to kind of trim the fat a little bit. But yeah, so I definitely did achieve that, so that's pretty good. Dial in my diet. Now that one I definitely did not do. My diet, if anything, this year got way worse. Partially because, sometimes when you're dealing with depression, anxiety, appetite can be a problem. For some people, they overeat. For some people, they undereat. And for me, I'm one of those people, if I get really upset, I do like a weird hybrid of both. I'll go for a long time without eating, and then I will just stuff my face until I'm stupid. I literally, the other day, I was having a rough day. I ordered Domino's. I got a medium pizza, and they gave me a free one as some promotion they were doing. And I don't like wasting food, so I ate both of them. And I regretted it the next day, but the point is, I definitely need to work on my relationship with food. Get back to where I was, because at one point, I was at the point where I was literally taking every single piece of food, and I was measuring it, putting it in the jars, weighing it on the scales, and sure, I was in great shape, but it was a horrible relationship to have with food. You don't want to be in that situation. It works for some people, but for me, because of how I get obsessed with things, it got really bad. So, that's just something I got to work on. So again, we'll call that one another failure, but we'll put an asterisk next to that because that's something we're going to carry over to the next year. Ooh, here's a good one. This is a personal one. Go on a date and meet someone. Now, you guys probably don't know about my personal life when it comes to this, but I have been single and alone and celibate, if you know what I'm saying, for about 6, almost 7 years now. Now, a lot of this is because of obviously my mental health problems and whatever else. I isolate a lot. These are a lot of personal issues that I deal with, but a lot of this does not work well when it comes to having a partner, a relationship, any of that kind of stuff. And well, this year I actually went on 2 dates. It was 2 dates, and it went really well. She was very nice. It was a good person. And for whatever reason, we just kind of lost contact. It seems to be what kind of happens nowadays. But the fact that I actually went on a date, that was a huge win for me. So this one I definitely achieved. And I'm going to definitely call that one a win. And I'm going to make a new goal for that for the next year because I definitely want to start dating more. It's just really hard, especially when you're so busy. It's hard to find time. And especially nowadays with the hookup culture the way it is, it's so rough out there. It's not like what it used to be. And I'm a traditional kind of guy when it comes to this stuff. I want to take them out on dates. I want to get to know the person, figure out whether or not it's an actual match, not just go and hook up the first time I meet them. You know what I'm saying? Here's a good one. Clean the house and keep it clean. So, for those of you that don't know me, I have a bad habit of when I get into one of my depressive episodes where things will just kind of get let go, right? Like dishes in the sink, vacuuming, sweeping, mopping, just general cleaning stuff that people do regularly. A lot of times what will happen is that I will end up slacking on a lot of that. It will get really bad, and then it makes it even harder to do. So one of my goals was to clean my house and actually keep it clean. And this one I would say that I've done very well because in the last 3 or 4 months, I've spent a lot of time just going and getting in real deep and cleaning things, getting rid of stuff. So this was a big one for me because for me, if things are organized and neat, I just feel so much better. I feel like I can think, I can be more creative and come up with new ideas for videos and stuff like that. So it's really important for me to have the organization, but when I'm living in a space where it's just cluttered and destroyed, it's very difficult to actually get the energy to do this stuff and actually be able to focus. So this one I'm going to call a win. I definitely did that, and this one's definitely going to carry over because this is something I need to maintain 100%. Design a logo. Okay, so this one I definitely did not do because one, it takes a really long time. I'm not a graphics design artist. If any of you are into graphics design and you are, pretty good at that kind of stuff, send me a message, or leave a comment in this video. Let me know, because I'm looking for a logo for my channel. I'm looking for a way to redesign the actual logo, the brand. But it's just been very difficult trying to come up with this kind of stuff because I've been so focused on everything else that, branding and stuff like that has been so far in the back of my mind that it's just not even there. But it's I really do want to change some of the stuff, some of the looks of the channel, because, it used to be me and my brother, and now it's just me. And so I'm trying to make that transition and make more sense. We're called The Daily Drift, and I don't even upload daily, right? Because, well, I just don't have the time to do that. And most of my videos take multiple days to create. It's not just something that I can just film in a day and put out. So I don't know if I'm going to either try to figure out a way to do this daily, or maybe we'll have to come up with a new name for the channel. I don't know. This is all stuff that I'm going to have to think of in the future. But that one we're going to call a fail because I did not do that. Let's see. Improve my B-roll in videos. I would say that I have put a lot more time into doing B-roll. Maybe not in this video, because this video is kind of a real impromptu video. But in a lot of my videos, most people probably won't even notice or even know what B-roll is. But that is essentially if I'm talking here, you might see a clip where I overlay something, and it's going to be of something interesting that maybe is related to whatever I'm talking about. That's B-roll. And a lot of times you'll see a lot of videos where it's just this. I'll sit behind a camera, we'll talk, have a conversation, but there won't be anything going on. And so this is one of those things where I'm trying to step up my game and making films and make videos, because this is something I'm really passionate about, and I really enjoy making videos, and I enjoy the process. It's just very challenging when it's you by yourself. That's part of the reason why I really like this piece of equipment back here, is that new slider I got. I've been doing a whole bunch of filming with that thing, and it's making it really, really interesting to make some different shots that I can do just by myself. It allows me to get in front of the camera instead of always having to be behind it. So that's something I've always really liked. So I guess we'll call that a win. Make a short film. So I don't know why I had this on here twice, but the first one was working on a short film, and then the other one is actually making one. Obviously, I didn't make one. I've made little videos, but I haven't made an actual short film. So this one we're going to have to just push off into the next year, because this is definitely something that I want to do, and I have scripts written out, I have stories, I have ideas, I have things that I want to do. But this is one of those more long-term things that's going to take me a while to actually do, but it's definitely on my list. It's something I really, really want to do, and by the end of the year, I definitely want to have one, and it's going to be uploaded on YouTube. It's not really going to any film festival or anything like that. I'm obviously an amateur, but it's on my list of goals, okay? We'll just keep it simple. But I think that is all of my goals from last year. So that's a pretty good set of goals. I think they were all fairly realistic. Some of them were a little bit crazy, but I think they were all doable. So what I'm going to have to do now is basically we're going to come in here and we're going to write down a list of goals for this year. These are what I want to do for 2022 and how we're going to do it moving forward. I'm going to get to writing this real quick. Okay, so when it comes to writing goals down and figuring out what you want to do, there's some rules that tend to help in doing this. When I was in the military, we had something that was called a SMART goal. Now, if you've ever been in the military, you know we love acronyms. So SMART actually stands for, what is it? Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time. Is it timely? Time managed? Hang on, it's something with time. Let's see. Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound. So, or time constraint. The idea is basically you're going to make it specific enough to where you know exactly what you need to do. It needs to be something that you can definitely do. So it's not like, I'm going to gain 100 pounds of muscle in 1 year. Without drugs, that's not possible, okay? So, you have to have a realistic goal. So an example of that would be, instead of 100 pounds, maybe you'll say, I'll gain 10 pounds of muscle. Nah, that's kind of crazy too. We'll say 5 pounds of muscle in 1 year, okay? And then what you would do is then be well, okay, and then how am I going to do that, right? So you would basically figure that out. But anyway, the point is, the goal needs to be specific. It needs to have a time. It needs to have a specific goal. and it's got to be realistic. It can't be anything crazy. So, because otherwise what will happen is like with what I did last year where I wrote all these goals down and let's see, I think I achieved all of like maybe half of them. And even then, that's kind of like a maybe because I put super unrealistic goals. There was no timeline on any of these. I mean, obviously it was within the year, but it wasn't like, there was no real like aim, like dial in my diet. That is not a SMART goal because that's not specific. How am I going to do it? What exactly do I want my diet to look like? Like, do you see what I'm saying? It's missing a lot of information. So that's why I'm going to try to improve on that this year by making more SMART goals, spelling them out, and not like overdoing it. I want to hit like these main goals, and then obviously each year and each like season, I'm going to write down different goals that are going to be like building blocks to achieving those goals. And that's kind of the important thing. Okay, so I think I got a decent list here. Now, pardon my horrible handwriting, because it's very bad, but I have a pretty decent list here. I may add more to this as I go, because sometimes it's hard when you actually just sit down and think of things, but I noticed once I started writing them, more things came to me, but I think I hit a good stopping point here. So let me just tell you what my goals are for this year and how I'm going to achieve them. So number one, obviously, we're going to hit 10K subs on YouTube by the end of the year. Now, that's a pretty conservative one. I think we're at like 7,500 right now. So I think it's very doable, but that's going to require me being more consistent and making more videos, which kind of leads into my second goal, which is all about making my short film. Now, this I'm going to be doing on the side. This is going to be kind of like a side project. I'm going to be doing a little bit at a time. I want it to be between 5 and 10 minutes long, and I'm going to do it by the end of the year. That video is going to be done. Now, I don't want to put any details out there yet because I haven't fully worked it out yet, but that's definitely on my list that I want to achieve this year. Number 3, lose 2 inches on my waist. So if you guys don't know, I have been bulking, and I used to be in a pretty good shape. I mean, I'm still in good shape. I still work out, but like, you know, I used to have like a decent shape, but now I've got kind of like this little, it's not really a gut, but it's just like, you know, it's not a six-pack, you know, it's not like I'm not super ripped or anything like what I used to be back in the day. I'd like to get back to that, but, you know, that's going to require the diet. So number 4. So 4 is basically go on more dates. So I put in here specifically at least 2. So in 1 year, if I can do at least 2 dates, then I did at least as good as this year. Maybe I'll do better next year. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not putting any like big goals on that. You know, I'm not saying I'm going to meet the woman of my dreams or anything like that, but you never know. And then number 5 is finish the body repairs on the Mustang. I wanted to say let's finish the Mustang next year, but with how hard it is getting parts and how it is just trying to get a lot of these jobs done, it's going to be tricky because the problems I'm running into right now is like, obviously right now it looks like it's nighttime, but it's only like 6 o'clock in the evening. So it's dark, it's hard to work on that stuff when you can't see, and then I'm running into quiet hours. So it's going to be kind of tricky, but I'm going to do my best. I would love to finish that car this year. I'm definitely be putting a lot of work into it, but it's all dependent on parts and time and finding the time to actually work on it. So that's why I put at least finish the body repairs, because I know for a fact I can do that. So that's what our goal is for this year. The next goal is go drifting at least once. So I'm not talking on the street. I'm talking like I want to go to an actual event and go drifting. Now, I found out recently that the Corpus Drift, they're opening back up. They were just having an event last month and I missed it. So if they end up doing another one of those, I'm going to try to get to that because I had a really good time at the first one we went to way back, and I think it was like 2017. And the guys that run that are really great. It's just a really cool event. So hopefully I'll get to do that at least once this year. That would be awesome. All right, here's a big one for me, and that's film videos without overthinking them and put out what is real. So what I mean by that is I can't tell you how many video ideas that I've come up with where I wanted to film them and I wanted to do them, and I just couldn't actually do it because I would just think of all the little details and like the process of getting started, and it just never happened. Or I would make the video and then I would edit it and I'd be like, this isn't good enough, and I wouldn't put it out. There is a lot of videos that I should have just put out and I wish that I did, but now it's so late it just wouldn't make sense. So my goal is for this year, I'm going to be putting out a lot more content than I did last year. And I'm going to not think about it. It's not always going to be car stuff. It's going to be a bunch of random stuff, probably, honestly. But, like, at this point, who cares? I'm just here to have a good time. I want to film the real stuff, and I want to show you guys kind of some of the stuff that I'm into. It's not just cars. So I know to some people that's, like, kind of a Debbie Downer, but, like, I want to film more stuff, and it's going to require me doing things that are not all in the garage. Work on fun projects to mix it up. So all that means is, instead of just doing like the car stuff or whatever, I might work on some stuff. There's a project I want to do for my dog. He's having a hard time getting up and down from my bed. I can't even get him in the bed anymore because of his hips. They're really messed up. So like one project that I want to do is work on making a staircase for the dog that's like a really short step. So it's like real gradual. So it's real easy for him to then be able to get up into the bed. It's way more comfortable for him than sleeping down. Like right now I just have like big old padded blankets for him, but you know, I would just like to be able to have him be able to get up and get down. And, you know, I guess some people don't let their dogs sleep in the bed with them, but my dogs are my family, so they sleep in the bed with me because, you know, I love them. And now here's what I'm surprised that I didn't have on last year's, and that's stay sober. For a lot of you, you probably don't know this, but I'm actually a recovering alcoholic, and I have not had a drink since May of 2017. And I have been holding on to that, but this year has been incredibly difficult. I've had a few days where it was really challenging, but so far I've been able to hold on, and I've been able to keep that under control, and I just want that to be on here just as like a reminder that, you know, that is a really important thing to me, and I want to remain sober, because if I'm not sober, these videos are most likely not going to happen. A lot of these goals are just not possible when I'm drinking. So that's why that is a really important one. That one honestly should be number one, because all these other things become almost impossible if I'm not. So yeah, and then right below that is continue therapy. Obviously I kind of put that on there because that's kind of a very important one, but also it's one I know I can do, because I do that and I think it's important. Let's see, what's the other one? Learn to say no when you need to. So, I'm sure I'm not the only one that has that problem. I have a very bad habit of, even if I have something that I want to do or I need to do, if somebody asks for my help and I know I can help them, I typically will go and help them. I have a very bad problem with being able to say no to people because, you know, if I can help somebody, I would like to help them. But sometimes I do it at cost to myself. And so this is something that I need to work on in being able to tell people no. Being able to say, like, no, it's just like I need, you know, for me, I just can't, right? But I just have a very hard time with that because I'm a people pleaser. I want to make people happy. I want to help people when I can. But the problem is when you do that enough to where then it starts to impact your life in a negative way, it's kind of counterintuitive, but it's very hard to adjust to that. And it's something that I need to work on. So it's a goal of mine for next year. Another one, this one's pretty simple, but just get back into yoga. Yoga is something I used to do all the time. I used to do hot yoga, and that shit, boy, you want a challenge? That is, just imagine doing yoga, but in a sauna. It is crazy. But it's really good. I felt way better when I was doing that. The flexibility was great. Just like in general, my joints and stuff would all feel really well, and it would actually help with recovery. So like, because I train really heavy, I do a lot of, you know, squats and, you know, bench press and all that kind of stuff. It can really be taxing on the body, and so recovery is a huge part of that, and yoga actually helps with that. So that's something I want to get back to because I haven't done yoga once this entire year. And let's see, what's the last one? Last one here is play more games with friends. So that's just gaming in general. I love gaming. It's a big part of my life. I've always been a gamer, and I've been playing since freaking Super Mario. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know I'm not probably the oldest one here. I mean, I know of asteroids and stuff like that, but I didn't really play those growing up because for me it was back when the NES came out. That was more my timeline. You know, and like I still have an N64. I got games on that. I got some newer stuff, but like I really want to get back to playing games for fun, not just for like, you know, oh, you know, we're just going to play this game like just because that's what everyone's playing. Like I want to play the games that I used to play that are fun games, like simple games, but they're fun, you know? Like, I really like Minecraft. I know it's, like, such a nerdy thing, but, like, I really like that game. It's probably because it, like, helps the, like, autistic part of my brain. Because I'll tell you, woohoo! Sometimes I really enjoy that game, and I don't know why. But, you know, I just want to get back to playing games for fun. That's a big thing, you know? Like, the other day I played this game. My buddy Chris got me this game. It's called Civilization. And I was never really much of a PC gamer. And I started playing this game, and my God, that game will soak up your life if you're not careful. It is so much fun, and it's a really interesting game, but it's one of those games where, man, if you're not careful, it'll suck your life. But that's the other thing is, gaming can become its own addiction on its own, but, you know, the thing is, you gotta have something fun in your life and enjoy something that you're doing, you know, because, like, for me, I love cars, but every now and again, I need to do stuff to kind of take me out of that, because if all I did was just work on cars and that was like my entire identity, I would probably get sick of it, and then I would probably just give up one day. Versus if I have these other aspirations and things that I enjoy doing, it kind of helps keep the cars fresh. It gives me new ideas when I'm working on them and new ideas for projects and stuff like that. So I think it's important to, you know, diversify what you're doing. You know, I mean, another thing I probably should write it down in here is farming. I love growing vegetables. Like right now, I've got a whole bunch of tomatoes out there. They're probably going to die because it's about to freeze. But I love tomatoes. I love vegetables, growing them. I just like taking things from like a little seed and watching it grow all the way up into this big, beautiful plant, and then eventually I eat it. But, you know, I think it's interesting to do those things. So for me, I have a lot of random hobbies. I do a lot of different things. Thing is, I only mainly film the car stuff, so I'm going to try this year to film a lot more of the other stuff that I like doing that's fun and different and whatever. The point is, a lot of this stuff is going to be about, you know, things that I do around here. I hope that it's going to be interesting enough to watch. I'm going to try to be as entertaining as I possibly can. It won't be just me sitting here behind a desk, you know. But I just want to get this out there. I figure it's January 1st. It's a good time to kind of come up with goals and ideas. And come up with a game plan for this year, because I want this year to be a good year, and I want to really focus hard on my goals and focus really hard on doing this. And I hope that hopefully this will give you guys a little inspiration to start writing your own list, come up with your own ideas. I'm not saying New Year's resolutions, like don't have like any big new ideas or whatever. Like none of these things are anything really significant or new or crazy. These are all, like I said, smart goals. They're realistic. They're goals that are things I've already been working on, but that I just want to improve upon. You know, because I don't always achieve my goals. You saw that earlier in this video. I got like 40% of them, you know, so like the point isn't about achieving every single goal. It's just about having something to aim for. And that's really what my ultimate goal is here. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll be definitely making some more content, and I got a lot of cool stuff coming in the future. So I look forward to seeing you there. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.